When we think about the global Pokemon card market, it's traditionally been dominated by two languages, and that is English and Japanese cards. But watch out, because there's a new challenger on the block with record price sales higher than you can imagine, and that is simplified Chinese cards. Now in today's video, we are going to talk about what these cards are, what prices I've been seeing, whether I think these prices are justified, and where I see products of this language going in the future. Let's get straight into it. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Thomas and you're watching Pokemonster. I do all types of Pokemon content, whether it's about collecting, ripping packs, investing in sealed, vendor POVs, and I recently started my own Pokemon business, and you can follow the entire journey on my channel right here. Now in today's video, we need to talk about something very important, which is the rise of a potential new language of Pokemon cards that could challenge the duopoly of Japanese and English Pokemon cards. By the end of this video, you will be armed with way more information than you came in with, because to be honest, I haven't seen really anyone on YouTube doing sort of market coverage of simplified Chinese cards, nor detailed commentary on the same. Now, before I get into the rest of the video, guys, I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to all of you for helping me reach 5K subscribers. So I do have a big giveaway announcement coming. This will be announced at my first vendor POV coming out of London Card Show. So this is a good segue into me saying as well that I will be vending at London Card Show next weekend on the Saturday and Sunday, tables 229 to 231 next to YS trading cards. So hopefully you guys can come down if you're in the UK. Going back to the topic of the video, Pokemon cards have been dominated by English and Japanese, especially when it comes to prices, but we have seen some very high sales for simplified Chinese cards. Now, before I get into the rest, I think I should talk about briefly what simplified Chinese Pokemon cards are. Don't get confused between simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese cards, because that could cost you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds. Now, simplified Chinese cards came out around 2022 and are produced specifically for mainland China, and that is separate and different to Hong Kong and Taiwan, where you have got traditional Chinese cards. Now, to differentiate between simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese cards, I'm sure Crystal Collects has already made a guide on that, so you can go watch it. The key thing for you guys to know is that simplified Chinese characters have much fewer strokes in terms of the writing than traditional Chinese cards, but they are also characterized by a sort of watermark stamp that you can see on the bottom left. These simplified Chinese cards are also printed in Japan. They've got international card backing, but as you can see from the example I've got on screen, the quality on these is absolutely stunning. So that is simplified Chinese cards in a nutshell, and they come out in two formats: slim packs and jumbo packs. I think to start off, we need to talk about what's been going on with simplified Chinese cards, and I would say the USP of simplified Chinese cards is all of these exclusive cards that we can see on my screen. Now we're going to take a quick look on eBay for what prices these have been going for, but don't forget, so most people think that the exclusive cards only started from 151 because that's what they recognize the most, but actually, and it might be that they started coming out even earlier than this. I think Pokemon Go is where I first started to pay attention to exclusive cards. So we have got the Radiant Blastoise here, which is an exclusive to simplified Chinese. We have also got the Radiant EV Chinese. So let me just show you guys on screen. There you go. And I think Pokemon Go also has like an Articuno. Then we have got a few 151 exclusive cards, which I'm going to try to show you guys. And at the same time, we're going to do the price tracking. So the Chinese version of 151 is separated into 4 subsets, of which we've seen 3 so far. And each of them contains an exclusive Pikachu art rare drawn all by the same artist, Oswaldo Cato. Now I'm trying to think what is Oswaldo's most famous card, but what comes to mind for me is the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX alt art, the Golurk alt art from Evolving Skies. They have got plenty of great cards, but as you guys can see, these exclusive AR cards are fetching very high numbers, higher numbers than the Destined Rivals Mewtwo SIR, for example, in APSA 10. So this is the Pikachu that you get from the first subset. This is the Pikachu that you get from the second subset, and as you guys can see, if you guys are based in the US, multiply these numbers by 1.2 to get the US dollar value. So this is basically going to be about 1.2k for the second subset Pikachu, which has the Psyduck and a Dragonite behind it. Very, very beautiful cards, as you guys can see. But the one that's been doing all the rounds is the Gengar Chu, which comes out of the newest Chinese 151 subset called 151 Surprise. And as you guys can see, it's no surprise to see this card being super hyped. And now I don't know whether the prices are all organic, but obviously there's a lot of Gengar hype going on in the market right now. Couple that with Pikachu with an exclusive card that is hard to pull, and we'll get onto the pull rate later. And you get, you know, prices around the 3,600 US dollar mark. Now this has dropped because I'm pretty sure it was about 4,500 bucks before that. But the point is, it's an ultra modern card. It's not Japanese, it's not English, and it costs more than a PSA 9 English Jolteon Gold Star. So just to put things into perspective, that is sort of the prices that we are seeing on Simplified Chinese. We've also got the 151 Mew promo, which has dropped, but again in the PSA 10 is hitting very, very high numbers. I would say outright, this is already one of the most expensive cards that you can get in the hobby. Exclusive cards aren't just limited to that, because we have got the gem packs as well, which I'm trying to find in my tabs. You've got the gem pack Umbreon, which is going for about 800 bucks. You've got the Captained Pikachu from gem pack volume 1. You've also got this Arcanine SAR from Fearless Terastal, which I believe is the first Scarlet and Violet Chinese set. You've also got this beautiful, cute Mousehold SAR from one of the latest Chinese sets, which is called Reward Round or Prize Turn, which I think also has another exclusive SAR card. I don't know if it's Rika. I think it's Rika SAR. So hopefully these eBay prices give you a good idea of what prices these cards are going for at the moment. So we've got a general idea that these exclusive cards are highly desirable and going for prices that are higher than a lot of English and Japanese ultra-modern chases. Now the question is, are these prices justified? To help myself and you guys try and understand this, I think we need to look at the pull rates. Now, one thing to note about Simplified Chinese cards is that the pull rates are officially published. So taking the 151 exclusive Gengar Chu for a second, let's go and see what pull rates we've got. So I'm on the Pokemon China official website. Interesting thing to note as well is the retail price, 50 yuan, 50 RMB for one jumbo pack. Now, there are 6 jumbo packs in a jumbo box. So the retail price for that is 300 yuan or 300 RMB. That is about 35 pounds to 50 bucks. So I hope that is some useful information for you guys when you then look at buying these booster boxes, because you look at the market price for these right now. And as you guys can see, the slim boxes are coming down, but if you're buying them directly, you know, in your home country, this is the type of price you're likely to find for a slim box, and the jumbo boxes even more. But let's go back to the pull rates. So I'm gonna try and help you guys understand this, because I did some research on this. This is the pull rates for 151 slim packs. As you guys can see, it talks about there being 5 cards per pack here. You've got all the rarities going along this line, from most common to rarest. We know that the Gengar Chu is an AR card, which is in this category of the rarest cards you can pull. Now the way to interpret the percentages here is there are 5 cards per pack, and 4 of them are going to be common or uncommon cards. So that's why it says 80% here, because 4 of your cards will be a common or uncommon. So the last slot for the card could be any of these cards, going from a Pokeball, Holo, EX card like a half art, a Baby Shiny, I think, a Master Ball, then Full Art SAR, or Full Art Shiny, AR, and Gold card. 20% of the pack is going to be a rare card, and out of that 20%, 0.7% is going to be one of these cards. Now 0.7 out of 20 is 3.5%. So what this means is, in a pack of 5 cards, you will definitely pull one shiny card, but your chance of the shiny card falling within this zone within which the AR is 3.5%. Now there's another layer of complication here, is that the AR is not the only card within this zone, right? You've got 12, 14, 17, 18, 19 different possible cards if you hit a card within this 3.5% zone. So my maths may not be exactly correct, in each slim pack, I've got a 3.5% chance of landing within this zone, but the AR card is only 1 out of 19 different possible cards in this zone. So that means your chance per pack is 3.5 divided by 19. It's 0.18% per pack chance of pulling the Gengar Chew AR. Now you multiply that by box. So basically what this means is that in a box, you've got a 2.7% chance of pulling the AR in a slim box. So in order to get to 1, that's basically almost 40 boxes of slim packs in order to pull an AR. Now I don't know if my maths is exactly correct, but I want to hear from you guys whether you've pulled one and how many boxes it took you to pull one. Now I'm not going to touch on the jumbo packs because it gets even more confusing, because you get 13 common or uncommon cards, which makes up 65% of the pack, and then you get 7 potentially shiny cards, and the AR again is in the rarest zone. The key takeaway from the pull rates is that these AR cards are not easy to pull at all. It's not as easy to pull as an illustration rare in an English booster box, and it's nowhere near as easy to pull as an AR in a Japanese box. Okay, so where do I see these simplified Chinese cards going in the future? My personal opinion is that some of the prices we are seeing are a little bit crazy, and I think we're in this phase with an unknown quantity where we don't know where the prices are going to settle. It's brand new, it's exciting, the cards are cool. I think one of the key contributors to the high prices for simplified Chinese is actually the barriers to entry in terms of obtaining the product. These cards come out of mainland China, so obviously it's a completely different ball game to Japan, and people aren't that familiar yet with sourcing cards from China, including myself. Like, I don't have any supplier contacts. It is more difficult to source, which means that you might be paying secondary market or higher prices. Whereas for a lot of Japanese booster boxes, people now know how to source them themselves. The exclusive cards definitely help with the novelty and giving people a reason to buy or rip those cards. Just realized the animation stopped, but I'm going to keep rolling with it. So the exclusivity definitely helps because it gives people a reason to buy and rip the cards. And one of the things that really intrigues me is what kind of print runs we are going to see for this. Now, as I said before, simplified Chinese cards are printed in Japan. So if you imagine that Japan has a total capacity of printing for, let's say they have 100 printers and 90 of them are for Japanese cards and 5 of them are for simplified Chinese, and then the other 5 are for the other languages that they print. Now I think it's Thai and Indonesian that they print, but correct me if I'm wrong. How much more can they reprint for every single set? One of the key reasons why some of the earlier Chinese sets are worth so much at the moment is because China was playing a catch-up game to the English and Japanese market. So they did these huge mishmash sets and we didn't really see them reprinted again. The question I have now is, are we going to see the same thing with these newer simplified Chinese sets now that simplified Chinese has actually caught up? Or are they going to be constrained by the fact that their cards are still printed in Japan and that there is a limited amount of print capacity in Japan? That's not something I've got full numbers to, but it's something to think about if you're thinking about buying Chinese Pokemon cards. The other thing which is really important to note, which is valid, is that it is easier for alternative language cards to come up in price when Pokemon as a whole is booming. We know exactly what's going on with the market right now. Let me just replay this animation. We know exactly what's going on with the market right now, with English cards going absolutely crazy, which means that people are more open to seeking alternative languages to open cards in, and cheaper ones. However, I do think that the exclusive cards for simplified Chinese give people a reason outside of a boom to be opening simplified Chinese cards. But that is obviously an untested contention. So I do see the potential in simplified Chinese cards. China is still an emerging economy, but with huge potential. So if you sort of think or see the direction in which the world is traveling, could I see more people in China getting involved? Yes, there's huge potential in that market for demand. And I think I'm starting to see it already because I'm seeing stories of people lining up in Chinese Pokemon centers and not being able to find the product. So I think we're slowly getting there. I certainly think that there is huge potential, but I also think buying simplified Chinese cards at their current prices comes with huge risks. Because I just showed you the pull rates of the Gengar Chew, right? It's not an easy card to pull, and that is contributing to the box price. But putting 229 into context, that is basically the same price as a Surging Sparks booster box. Now, do you think that a simplified Chinese subset booster box that contains one chase card should be worth the same as a Surging Sparks booster box, which contains the Pikachu, the Milotic, the Phoebus, the Latios, and all those good cards? That's a question for you guys. In my mind, this is definitely a riskier type of thing to be putting your money in, especially when the prices are this inflated. Last thing I want to say is make sure you're buying from someone that you can trust, because I have seen videos of fake simplified Chinese booster boxes floating around, and to be honest with you guys, I probably would not be able to tell the difference because I haven't handled enough simplified Chinese cards. But those are my thoughts on simplified Chinese Pokemon cards. It's certainly an exciting time to be looking at them. If you did enjoy this video, I ask you one thing, is to drop a like and subscribe. Watch out for the giveaway announcement coming very soon, and see you guys next time.